So, you've just finished a song and you listen to it on your phone, and the drums just sound flat or you can't hear them. Sound familiar? Well, today I'm going to be showing you how to make your drums pop. Welcome back to Inverse Audio, I'm 5X, and I've got another banger of a video for you today. If you've enjoyed the video, then please leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content, comment with what you want to see on the channel next, and without any further ado, let's get right in the video. Right, so welcome to a project of mine. This is a song that will be coming out in the first week of August, I believe. I'm quickly just going to play it from the drop just to get an understanding, but we are going to be focusing on the drums today. Yeah, sounds pretty good. I'm happy with it. It's not got the full master on it. Firstly, let's listen to the drums that I've got on here. So yeah, nice and fat. They're punchy, they've got beefiness, they've got transients, it's all there. So the first thing I'm going to explain to you is the difference between peak loudness and perceived loudness. They are two different things. So to show you this, I'm just going to be using the snare for now. So the peak loudness is measured in decibels, and it's using decibels as a great way to actually indicate how loud the sounds get. So right now we're looking at the current channel here, where my mouse is on the left. And as we can see, it's hitting a -6 peak in decibels. Now, the interesting thing is when we then put a clipper on it, and where we're looking is before we apply any clipping or gain, we're looking on the left, and afterwards we're looking at the right. So without any sort of clipping, these are going to match. So this snare is around actually -4, it says the clipper, in peak volume, whereas the max RMS is -13. Now, the interesting thing that we can do to actually make this louder but still retain the same level of volume in decibels is turn down the clip. And as you can see here, we're actually just shaving the top of the transient. So if we turn this down to around, let's say -10 for now, -8 or something, and then we reset this output here. So now we have a max peak of about 7 dB. So we reduced the dB by approximately 3 decibels, but the max RMS has only gone down by 2. And if we actually A/B this, you can't actually tell the perceived loudness difference. You can a little bit, but then you've also noticed that we have this whole headroom now. So we've chopped it down from -6 to now -9. And then what we can do is we can turn the gain back up. So we're still at these same decibels, but now we actually have a louder RMS. So if I turn it off and on, you can hear it's a lot louder, but the visualizers aren't saying this. So this is the difference you need to understand, that just because your drums are saying they're loud, that doesn't mean they are actually loud. So yeah, with that little explanation out of the way, the first thing into making your drums sound fat, and this is quite an obvious one, but it's actually just picking good samples. For things like kicks and snares, you want to look for a transient at the start, which in this case looks like this. So this sort of first transient, it's mostly upper highs and mids, whereas this other part, the second part, is going to be the beefiness. That's where the bass is going to come from. So if you find a sample without that sort of initial hit, it's going to sound a lot less fat than that, especially when you've got a lot more elements going through. Maybe on headphones, less of a difference, but on something like a phone where you can't really hear the bass, that's what gives the illusion of a fatter kick being there. Same thing goes for the snare, except you have 3 different sections in the snare. First of all, you've got the click at the start. Then you've got the main tone or the body, which is usually the bass tone of the snare, which is between 200 and 400 hertz. As we can see here, this one is about 200. And then lastly, you've got the tail, which is the white noise. Finding a snare sample that has a combination of all 3 of these works really well. For hi-hats, it's not as clear. You just want to be making sure that you're not really using stuff with too much low end, because it can, muddy up your mix, and maybe you just don't want those frequencies to be there. Next, let's get into layering. So let's first check out how I've layered the kick. So this is with two layers and one. So the way that I've done these is just through mixing. The original kick doesn't actually have any effects on it. But on the second kick, I've just removed the low end to have that high end peeking through. Gives it way more of a click, and it's just a lot easier to be heard. Now, if we have a look at these snares next. So the first snare, main snare, didn't actually do anything to this one. Then we have a snap, which is an interesting layer. I've just opened up the width a bit here, stereo separated it. Next, we've got another clap, which is once again just in the background. But it's how I combine these that makes it interesting. So first, I send all of my 3 snares into a bus. Then I add on a transient shaper and I increase the attack slightly. Next, I add on a decapitator, bit of saturation, and then once again, we're lowering that peak volume and increasing the RMS. So that's another thing that saturation is great for. Next, the EQ, I've just turned up the body of the snare a little bit because we've got the clap and then we've got the snap, which is a bit more white noisy. So we want to make sure that that initial body of the snare doesn't get lost. And lastly, the clip. Before it's even on, so we've got a peak of +2 with all of the samples combined, and an RMS of -13. But after I clip it -6 decibels, we get -4.3 peak amplitude in dB, and the RMS has only gone down by 1. So we've reduced the peak by 6 decibels, but the RMS by 1. So then we've got so much more headroom. Like if you have a look, before it's going above 0, after -6, and you can't even tell the difference. So then I now have the ability to turn this up even louder, and that's what's going to make my drums be heard. So yeah, don't underestimate the clip, and it can really beef your sounds up. So yeah, the next thing you can do is actually, I've just touched on it briefly before in the other point, is saturation. This is once again going to lower that peak dB and increase the RMS. So yeah, one reason why I love this plugin is because you can turn on the auto gain. You're driving it, it's going to stay the same relative volume, which then means you can turn it up after. But it's really good on things like snares, like I've used it here. Obviously, you don't want to go too much because then you will just end up destroying the sound, but it's really good on things like hats as well. You might think having distorted hats is, probably not the way to go, but it's actually how you get your hats to hit hard in the mix. So yeah, a really easy point. If you don't have Decapitator or anything fancy like that, you can literally use an FL stock plugin, or any DAW will have these. It's just a wave shaper. And what you can do is just boost this. You're just saturating it. And you can draw your own like shapes in as well if you want, and just get a bit creative with it. But then the last thing, and probably the biggest trick that I use in my tracks to get my drums heard, is parallel compression. Now, what parallel processing is when you have a channel running alongside your main bus, and you're sending the bus into the parallel version and applying effects on top of that, almost using that second send or the parallel as a wet and dry fader. So what I have here is a send. So I've got the Fruity Send plugin. And the reason why I do this is, say if I sent it down here as normal, and I tried to listen to it, well, if I mute this, I can't hear it. But if I use the Fruity Send instead, have this at 0 volume, and then just send to drum parallel compression, obviously you're going to have the send already in there. I can then mute it and just listen to the actual channel. So I'm going to start the effects from scratch. So this is now what we're hearing, completely dry. The first thing that I do is apply compression. It's a parallel compression. So what you're looking to do in parallel compression is essentially just remove all the transients that you can and get a really thick signal. So there's a preset that if you don't know how to, compress very well, in Pro C2, it's called parallel compression. And all you have to do once you've loaded this up is just turn off the dry gain like so. And now we can hear just how squashed it is already. And you might be thinking it sounds really extreme, but remember, you're not going to be using this at 100% volume. You're going to mix it in with your track. Next thing that I like to add is a decapitator. So that way we're adding some saturation and compression. And then lastly, I pull up a clipper and I just want to shave off those last transients, like so. You can, once again, if you want, saturate it more, but we don't want to get too crazy with it. And then what you do is you play your whole track. You lower this to 0, and then you mix it up until you can hear a difference.
You're so easy to love in my life. When you say I'm the one, you're so easy to love. You're easy to love. Yeah, you're so easy to love in my life. When you say I'm the one, you're so easy to love. You're easy to love. Yeah, you're so easy to love.
So yeah, as you can hear, it actually makes a massive difference because you're getting the best of both worlds that way. So you've got the nice transients of your original drum bus. It's nice and dynamic. There's differences between the volumes, but then you've also got the really squish signal of the power compression, which, as you can see here in the top left, just completely flat. But you're just adding more RMS and just weight of volume. So let me just on and off those real quick. But yeah, guys, that will be everything for today's video. I hope you guys have enjoyed and know how to make your drum sound fatter in a track now. If you're interested in any sample packs, then go over to the link below. We also offer one-to-one tuition and mixing and mastering services. So if you have any questions, email us or DM us. Let us know what you want to see in the next video, and I shall see you in the next one. Peace.